There we go. Good morning, good
Good.
afternoon,
Yes.
good evening, good night, depending on where you're catching this from.
Yes.
Greetings to you. Greetings to you. What a joy and blessing it is to be here. I want to give thanks for those who are tuning into this live stream. We have a very special guest today that I want to I have the honor of introducing to the Soul family, whether you're catching us on the Akashic Living YouTube channel or live stream on LinkedIn. This conversation today is one where we get to continue the series of Burnout to Balance, providing more insight and practical measures in terms of self care and how we can come back and rejuvenate and restore our bodies and restore our sense of well being and wholeness by providing some tenderness in our life, right? And remembering that we're
Mhm.
perfect, whole, and complete. And so I
Yeah.
give thanks for those who are tuning in on LinkedIn. I know this conversation tends to be a little bit different for the platform. So I'm grateful for your openness to the conversation and willingness to hear the teachings from our guest today, who is none other than the magnificent, as you can see her on the screen, the magnificent Miss Danny, Miss Danny Nelson. Ashe, greetings to you, my sister.
Greetings, my brother Andre. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely, it's absolute joy to have you here. I want to give everyone just a brief background about Danny. If you're not familiar with her, I know we've had a previous conversation earlier in the summer, and uh, the information that she shared was so powerful and insightful. I wanted to, have an opportunity to continue the conversation around, self care and healing with nature. And so,
Mm.
from Danny's background and perspective, she's a licensed social worker. She's a certified aromatherapist. She's a lifestyle coach and a published author. She has just a really strong sense for wanting to grow and to learn. So she's always picking up different modalities and different ways to heal, not just herself, but provide healing modalities to other people. And I love her mantra where she says, let us continue to learn, grow, share together and do it naturally. And so all the different healing practices that she recommends come from the earth. They're all natural. And it really helps fuel a sense of wellness and wholeness in our lives. So I'm grateful to have you here, my sister, and definitely interested in hearing more about your journey as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and happy Thursday to everybody, right? All
Yeah.
the beloveds out there. And, you know, just to tell a little bit more about me and how I
Mhm.
got to this space. Um, I've told this story many times on my YouTube channel, Natural Ally D, um, where growing up, I had a number of health challenges, right? For which I was going in and out of ER for like asthma and eczema, asthma in particular, and eczema just to the doctor and what have you. Fast forward. Um, Going to college, I had an opportunity. I was introduced at a university health center where I had an episode. I had a asthmatic episode, and the doctor said, "You need to get an allergy test." I'm like, "An allergy test? I never heard of that, right?"
Mhm.
Nobody growing up had recommended to my parents for me to get an allergy test to see what was going on with me,
Mhm.
and did that. Realized I was allergic to a plethora of things, and then it was like, okay, a light bulb opened up. How can I incorporate what I have learned about myself into a better self care for me?
Mhm.
Right. But still, being a broke college student, I couldn't change my lifestyle at the time because I learned that I was, you know, not prepared or ready for what I had heard. Then
Mhm.
fast forward some more, um, trying to change my lifestyle. Andre, I had the opportunity to come across a naturopathic doctor by
Okay.
Dr. Joel Wallach because I was having experiencing more symptoms, different symptoms this time. I had started getting control up under the asthma, eczema, but then I started experiencing things like vertigo
Okay.
and other challenges. I'm like, okay, what is this? Well, but for Dr. Joel Wallach and his um, background, because he is I'd say a veterinarian doctor and a naturopathic doctor. You can look him up online. He's
Mhm.
won Nobel Peace Prize. He has a number of books out there that talks about different diseases and modalities.
Mhm.
Through him, I was introduced to aromatherapy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in his company, Longevity, he had a brand ambassador for aromatherapy by a wonderful soul by the name of Leanne King, who, of course, school that I went to.
Okay.
Um, to learn about aromatherapy. It was fate. I say it was a calling because she's on the West Coast in Utah. I think she's
Mhm.
still there, and she was on Facebook and she was coming to Michigan. I'm like, she's coming to Michigan. How close can I get to her?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't know how I was going to get there because at the time, mind you, I was still experiencing the challenge with the vertigo.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I was in my mind, Brother Andre, I was making a plan. I was like,
Okay.
okay, I need to get there, but I'm experiencing this. I'm still working on this. How can I get there? I had made a plan in my mind. If this happened, I'm going to stop by the side of the road. I'm just going to do that
Yeah.
because it was like 2.5 hours away. Got there for a weekend retreat she was having here in Michigan.
Okay.
And what I learned about aromatherapy in that session was that I didn't know nothing.
It's a good place to begin, right?
I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so aromatherapy isn't the plug-ins you get from the grocery store, and
Yeah.
it's not the aerosol sprays with the fragrance in. That's not aromatherapy. That's it's not just the candles,
Hmm.
which you can't use pure therapeutic grade essential oils in anyway.
Yeah.
But saying that to say, once I got done with that weekend retreat, I'm like, sign me up. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, how I was going to get through it.
Hmm.
And 4 years later, I was uh, walking to my graduation in Kansas City, no less. I had to fly to my
Wow.
graduation. It was, we were an inaugural class. It was it was like 10 of us.
Okay.
I want to say I was the only African American woman.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the rest is history. I
Wow.
even before I started though, I started sharing my journey and my essential oil journey and teachings with my faith family, right?
Okay. Okay.
So they were so loving to allow me to introduce aromatherapy. I'm like, oh, I know this thing. Who can I share it with, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Went to my leadership in my home, my home of love here, and they were like, yes, bring it
Hmm.
on. And so I had the opportunity to share my passion, my new passion and knowledge with them, for like was going on more than about 6 years, from
Wow.
2018 to 2023 last year in February, give or take.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the rest is history. And then I had the nerve to jump out here on these YouTube streets, right?
Let's go. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about that journey because you found something that was healing for you,
Yes.
right? And you shared it with everyone else, but you shared it in a manner where it's very public. It's not just with your friends and family. You have a YouTube channel where you're always you're going live. You're sharing different types of essential oils that people can use based on maybe different conditions or
Yes.
usages. So what was that like? I mean, to really become more public with one, your healing, but two, also how other people can hear themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let me back up because if you had told me 5 years ago I'll be out here doing this, I'd be like, what? Me? Uh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, from my teachings and gaining confidence with my faith family,
Hmm.
I had an opportunity, and shout out to Stephanie Perry. Anybody who knows Stephanie Perry on
Yes.
social media,
Yeah.
on particularly YouTube, she had a 5-day YouTube challenge. And by the
Hmm.
end of this 5-day challenge, you were going to have a YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
And so at the end of that 5 days, it was either I was going to jump
That's right.
or what. And so I jumped. I said, I have this knowledge, I have this passion, and marrying my background for social work and aromatherapy is in me. I have a passion for it. I'm
Hmm.
just going to do the thing. And here we are 2 years in, and that's what I've been doing. I
Wow.
still, you know, I'm excited about it. And
Yeah.
right now, you mentioned about my YouTube channel. I'm sharing a series, A to Z series.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have on where I have close to 300 give or take concerns for which I'll be sharing which essential oils you might want to try or suggest that you try
Yeah.
uh, for that particular condition. So I welcome everybody to jump in on that series.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you touched on, your professional career in terms of being a social worker. And I find this very interesting because we're bringing this conversation to LinkedIn as well. And
Mhm.
sometimes, the different, let's say, natural treatments or modalities may not make its way onto LinkedIn, right? But when we
Mhm.
show up at work, or maybe we have a business trip, right? And maybe we feel like we're a little bit off balance, right? We could always use a way where we can, you know, regain our balance, regain our sense of well-being. And something like aromatherapy, meditation, those are daily practices that enable us to show up and to be our very best for ourselves and
Mhm.
for the others that we care about and our roles and responsibilities. So
Yeah.
I like how you intertwine it with social work, because as I'm pretty sure social work is a very demanding position where you're dealing with a lot of issues that can be challenging and emotional. And so, how are you integrating aromatherapy into your social work and helping your colleagues also, in some respects, manage stress and de stress and establish a sense of well being?
Oh, I thank you for that question. So, and that was one of the things that I thought about. I was like, well, how can I bring this to those of us who serve in this social work space, right?
Hmm.
And so for me, daily, it's one of my go-to things. I even have a video about it where I am applying essential oils even before I walk out the door, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just to give me that groundedness first of all to make it to work, because if you drive in traffic, you already know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah.
Trying to get there, and then while I'm there, I have a diffuser on my desk,
Okay.
which I use throughout the day to help me to serve the people in the population that I serve. And you mentioned about social work. I was reading an article most recently that said social work is number 2 of the jobs that can cause depression.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. And I was not surprised. Yes. Just like to your point, you're serving individuals who are in need.
Hmm.
Nobody wakes up and say, "Oh, I think I want to see a social worker today." you know, they're coming to you usually in a manner for which you're working for organization and government organizations such as
Hmm.
myself, a private entity, um, and they're coming to you for help. And sometimes that help is unsolicited. It
Mm.
might be because you need something, somebody referred you, and you're mandated to come. And that's just not always an easy place to be in. And if you're a
Yeah.
social worker out there, you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Somebody's mandated to see you, mandated to be in your treatment process, or, seeking help and have to humble themselves to ask you or ask this
Hmm.
program for help.
Correct.
That's not easy. And so, as a social worker, you can get compassion fatigue because you're hearing
Mm.
a number of stories. And of course, they're all different types. Some people work for organizations, so they might not have that one on one experience. But I'm talking about those of us who may be on the front line, who
Hmm.
are doing, therapy type work. You're not a therapist, but in some capacities, you're acting in that way. Um, but those of us who are on the front line, you have to have something to help you manage that stress, and also not have what we call counter transference
Mm.
emotions, because sometimes the individuals and families that
Hmm.
we serve, their emotions and things can be transferred onto us, and we're left like, "Ooh, okay, I got this. Where am I going to take it? How am I
Correct.
going to manage it?" Because at the end of the day, you're still human.
Correct.
You're still human. And so that's where I lean into one of the modalities is aromatherapy. Like I said, I
Hmm.
have it on me before I leave out the house. I have it at work, and I offer it to my social work colleagues as a way of, you think about incorporating aromatherapy in your therapy sessions or something to complement the treatments that you suggest for your clients? Because sometimes the treatments may be, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, or we're working on goals
Yeah.
for an individual and family. And sometimes they need something else outside of the time that you spend together,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And you want to be able to equip them with something like, hey, I know there's something perhaps that help me be grounded in the moment.
Correct.
Something, subtle, something that gets me to a state of woosah.
Yeah. She said, Wusa, need that inner peace, right? To find
Yes.
that inner peace. That's critical. It's so important. I remember before going into sales meetings, right? There were times if it was a high pressure sales meeting,
Uh-huh.
and it was maybe a deal that I wanted to close, I would get nervous. And I think that's natural, right? To have those nerves because it's something that you really care about. But then what was the process, the practice to kind of drop back into that inner peace, that woosah, right? And so
Right,
for
right.
me, it's always going back to before I would use lavender, right?
Mhm.
Just smell lavender to get me
Yeah.
relaxed. And I had no background in aromatherapy. It was something that kind of, family would just hand and be like, hey, you can smell this. Put this in your hand and smell it, it'd make you go to sleep.
Right,
Well,
right.
so if I felt like I was very nervous or anxious about something, I would put a little lavender in my hand and get me to relax. Or even now, with meditation, right? Just finding that inner peace, the connection that I have with aromatherapy reminds me of my meditation practice,
All
which
right.
allows me to kind of just drop into a state where I'm calm, where I'm relaxed, where I feel just in a very balanced space. And so I think it's a very practical tool for people
Hmm.
who are in, maybe it's a high pressured situation in terms of sales or something like that, to allow you to regain your equanimity,
All
right?
right.
And so that you can show up and
Yes.
deliver the gift that you have and not be, concerned or caught in your thinking mind about, things that really aren't, consequential to why you're there.
All right. I
Yeah.
love the way you put that. And you said something important there about um, the aromatherapy help you get to that space of meditation or your
Mm-hmm.
association with meditation, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's a quote by a famous, his name's Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
He's he was a physician, he was a poet, and a polymath. And I
Okay.
mentioned to you, a polymath, for those of you who don't know, is a person who knows about a number of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things, one of his quotes is that memories, imagination, old sentiments, and associations are more readily reached through the sense of smell than any other channel.
Wow.
So if you can associate with that aromatherapy with a good time and space, or like you say, with meditation, it can help you take you to that woosah moment, you
That's
know?
what you need. Yeah, yeah. You're creating that pathway. You can drop right in, right? Drop right in. I think, and I think there's research that's been done that your sense of smell is directly correlated with memory.
Mm-hmm.
With memory. Actually, what's interesting, I believe smell is the only sense that's fully developed in the fetus, fetus in
Mm.
the womb, your sense of smell. And so when kids grow up, I believe, the smell and the emotion that are stored in their memory helps create their different profiles or preferences later on in life because you have such strong connections to those things that you've developed earlier on in life. So it's quite interesting the influence of smell and how it can impact our perception, our thoughts, our memories.
Right. And it's wonderful that you said that because as babies, that's one of the things we like. Oh, that smell, that's the smell of my caregiver. That's the smell of the person who loves me, who feeds me, who I feel safe with,
Hmm.
and nurturing me. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at it as being kind of like a bookmarker, right?
Hmm.
You can have smell, a familiar smell, as a bookmarker for uh, maybe a space of where you feel empowered, a
Mm.
space where you feel, light, productive.
Mm.
You kind of put a bookmarker in there, and when you need to refer back to it,
Uh-huh.
you have it right in your pocket. I mean, we talked about it before, where
Yeah.
just having like smell sticks or just different applications forward to always have that almost like an ember, carry an
Mm.
ember with you so that you can always stoke the fire if maybe it starts to dim a little bit. So, and it's quite fitting because we're talking about burnout, right? And stoking fires.
Yeah.
And so what I'm curious about is in terms of with you dealing with clients and helping people navigate their wellness journey, what are some of the ways in which you use aromatherapy to get people to return to that state of balance?
Oh, wonderful. So, like I mentioned, for myself, I
Mhm.
use essential oils before I leave out the house, and I use a roller bottle. You don't
Okay.
necessarily have to use a roller bottle. It can be something as simple as putting a drop of essential oil and a carrier oil in your hand, or just one drop of the oil itself, rubbing your
Hmm.
hands together like we did, you know, before we start our day, and just
Hmm.
inhaling. Inhalation is one of the best tools that you can have as far as having the therapeutic effects for aromatherapy,
Hmm.
right? So you can do it through inhalation. You can do it through diffuser. Don't have to have one. Bath salts. Making your own lotions.
Hmm.
Um, and that's one of the ways that I encourage people who are very new to aromatherapy is just start with something simple with inhalation.
Okay.
Not trying to create anything, not trying to create the lotions and all that. If nothing else, and if through inhalation on your hand or a diffuser is one of my first go-to suggestions. It's because
Okay.
it's easy, it's simple. You don't have to try and figure out, okay, do I mix this with this? Is this enough? And what have you? Because you do have to do a little bit of work
Yeah. Hmm.
when
Hmm.
it comes to doing the other modalities like making bath salts and lotions and things of that nature. So
Hmm.
that's one of the very first things I would recommend or suggest. Something just as simple, one drop of essential oil in your hand and just woosah.
Yeah. It's the easiest way to get back to it. The
Yes,
easiest way to get back to it. I love
yes,
it. I love it. And so for someone who's just starting out,
yeah.
and like, where would you recommend someone to begin? I mean, if you go to any, and it's funny, you can go to any store, right? I mean, you can go to any big box store and they're going to have something about, an essential oil. And for someone who's new to, essential oils, you wouldn't know the forest from the trees in terms of, what to use it for, how to use it. So if you're just starting out, where would you recommend beginning with something
Well,
simple?
I'm partial. I do have a a master class, a free master class for which I created for just those individuals that you're talking about. If you're new to aromatherapy, you just want to know what do I need to know as the basic before you start picking up an oil and dousing yourself with it, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Or using it. And in my master class, I give you the foundation of how to use essential oils and how to select essential oils for you to use. And there is a you have like 5 takeaways from that. By the time you end with the master class, you will have known from, okay, I want to use essential oil. Now I know how to make an informed decision
mhm.
about which essential oil to select. Does it mean that you're going to know everything about essential oils? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
But you will have the foundation to say, okay, I understand why it's important to know the essential oil that I'm picking up, what I need to know about it before I even select it to
okay.
use for myself. And that's the key thing because you want to use essential oils safely. Simply, I recommend, which is my modality, and safely. I'm always talking about the safety.
Mhm, mhm. For sure,
Yeah, because
for sure.
essential oils are just as potent as you would have prescribed medications, no different. They can be fatal as well. So you need to know, okay, what do I need to know as my basic before I begin this journey if that's something you're interested in.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So you have a master class that's available for people who are just kind of jumping into, just a fundamental understanding of essential oils. You can find that at Danny's website, and I'll put the information for folks in the chat as well. And for today, there is an exclusive opportunity that Danny is running. Danny and I are running as well, where we'll be combining meditation with aromatherapy. It's going to be a virtual course, a virtual experience for people to
Yeah.
firsthand have that one-on-one experience, if you will, of learning how to create different types of applications of
Mhm.
essential oil and combining it with your meditation practice. And so if you're a person who's just maybe starting out with meditation, I'll be able to walk you through kind of the ins and outs, the science behind meditation,
Yeah.
understanding what mantras are, understanding how you can actually structure a ritual, a daily practice for your meditation, and
Yeah.
also, of course, integrating aromatherapy into it. So it's a very exciting opportunity to be able to combine the two, because I know there's clinical research that's been conducted of talking about the effects of meditation combined with aromatherapy, and how it's known to decrease both anxiety and depression, which is, the hallmarks, if you will, of burnout, right? If you're constantly, stressed out, maybe work related stress, feeling like you may not have the resources, or at a point where you're just out of motivation and energy, right? How do you get from that base point, which, and I'll say it, with that base point, which is a blessing, to be honest with you. It may feel like a very dark and difficult time, but it's a blessing and an opportunity to take time for yourself and reflect and
Mm,
develop a practice that supports the alignment of who you truly are. And so this course is exactly that. It meets you exactly where you are. If you're trying to prevent burnout or you're at a stage of burnout, being able to integrate two holistic practices that enable you to remember that you're already perfect, whole, and complete, and that,
yes.
yeah, and that your self-care is essential. You need a practice for it. So excited to team up with Danny and offer this course. Danny, I want to give you some space to tell more about it, to talk more about it.
Oh, well, thank you for introducing it. And like you said, it's an opportunity for you to self care, to really say, okay, if I want to show up as my best self, you need to take care of yourself first, right?
Hmm.
You can't pour from an empty cup, as they might say. You can't pour from an empty cistern, as they you have read or heard. And so this course, I'm super excited about to partner up with my brother Andre to offer specifically social workers and counselors, helping professionals really dive deep into, okay, using a natural modality not only for yourself, but also as a complement to help your clients. So it's a special course. It's a one of a kind, first of its kind offer, right? That we're offering, and it's for
Absolutely.
and I can honestly say I feel like it's for forward thinking social workers and counselors. If you
Hmm.
want to level up your game, level up what you offer your clients, and set yourself apart, right, from the traditional, from the what they say you should do textbook,
Yeah.
you know, things we know the things that we do and have been taught and trained and what have you. You say do this modality, do try this, and work with the families this way. But sometimes you also need alternative ways of doing something that is natural for you, and it's going to complement what you do, and your clients will be like, wow, yes, that was a good experience. And they turned me on to this
Mhm.
aromatherapy. They've turned me on to meditation. This might not be something you do per se, but you can refer them to a modality that is helpful even beyond what you offer your clients. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely looking forward to offering that course. And you touched on it, particularly, the course is being more or less targeted towards people who are working in social work and counseling. Also, for me, from my perspective, having worked in sales for over 20 plus years, if you're a salesperson, and you want to establish a practice, if you're looking for ways to if it's the end of the sales month, right? And we know the end of the month is very pressure intense, right? Pressure laden. It's an opportunity to help you tap into a space of inner peace during a time of chaos, right? So during a time of chaos, like, what does the practice look like, right? And so Danny will be able to give you practical applications that can travel with you, as does your meditation practice, right?
right.
So you don't have to show up at an office to do that. I mean, your office is exactly where you are, and of course, this actual virtual experience will give you all of the tools necessary uh, to help you feel more balanced and have more inner peace. And of course, what I'll be adding to from a meditation perspective, we'll talk about MBSR, mindfulness based stress reduction. We'll cover information from uh, primordial sound meditation mantra, excuse me. So what is your primordial sound mantra that's uniquely designed and customized for you based off of your time and date and place of birth, in addition to other teachings that I've learned from folks like Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith or Deepak Chopra, and just a variety of experience to be able to offer so that you can create a practice of your own and of course prevent burnout, but going even beyond that,
Yes.
thriving, because the
Yes.
goal at the end of the day is for you to have a life in which you thrive, a life in which you love, and you create and you build it based off of your practice, because ultimately we become what we think.
Hmm.
We become what we think, and our thoughts, our actions are ancestors of our thoughts,
Yes.
right? And so that is something where when you sit and you're able to meditate and you're able to drop into that space easier, you bring out all that beauty, all that the joy, all of those qualities of meditation into every single aspect of your life. And so that is what this practice, that's what this course is about. How do we bring all of those beautiful indwelling qualities into and externalize them in our everyday life?
Yes. And if I can add, Brother Andre, so
Mhm.
you're like, okay, you might be thinking, oh, this is just another course and this is just another something. No, we are going to give you a concierge experience where you're going to actually have hands-on opportunity to delve into what we're talking about in the course. And just let me give you some highlights of it. So you mentioned about the meditation, which Brother Andre is so lovingly bringing to the space, and that will be absolutely phenomenal. You're also going to get complimentary supplies for this experience where you're going to have an opportunity to, again, hands on right there. You're going to have the supplies at your disposal for you to create the applications that we're going to talk about in the course, right? So you'll have your supplies. There's no guessing as to, well, what do I order? What do I get? Is this right or what have you? We're laying out the red carpet for you in this course from A to Z. So you're going to have a tailored meditation plan for yourself, as Brother Andre said. You're going to have your supplies that you're going to have to create the applications that we're talking about. And you're going to have the expert guidance from the both of us, right? Have an opportunity to ask questions in real time, that you might, because, you have questions. You have like, okay, am I doing this right? Is this what you mean? It's one thing to read about it, but it's another thing to have that guidance right in front of you to say, okay, I have this. We're talking about this. I'm sharing. We're sharing. Is this what we're doing? You can ask questions. And as a bonus, you'll have access to this information online. So you'll have all the informations in my online course as it relates to aromatherapy. You'll have information downloads from both of us that you'll have at your access to, be even beyond the course, right? And video. So you'll have the video as well for a limited time in order to refer back to, but you'll have access to the course online. So all the materials will still be there. No fret. You don't get them all at once, all the downloads. You'll still have them right then and there to refer back to. So that's what we are offering to 5 lucky. I do say lucky. It
That's
might be
facts.
sound boasting.
No, you're right. You're right. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of,
It
and it's
is.
not just information. It's wisdom, right? Because it's
Yes.
information that we've been able to use in our own lives and apply it to our own lives. And so it's not
Yes.
something that we just, we read a book and filed it away. It's just the application component where we are living testaments to, what we're recommending and the practices we're helping establish. So there's evidence in our own life that it works.
Yes, yes, and you'll have information with science and research to back it up. You're like, okay, well, how does this apply to me, and why should I use it? You will have information in the course to back up why you would want to use it for yourself, and not only for yourself before your practice. And once you learn it for yourself, you're going to want to share it with your loved ones. Trust me.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
those that you come across, and if you're a social worker, I always say social workers are sharing wisdom.
Mm,
There's another way of saying social work. You are sharing wisdom.
mm.
So you aren't going to keep it to yourself. What you learn, you are not going to keep it to yourself. And in this profession, and as we talked about, you are going to be like, okay, I have another tool in my toolkit
Yes.
in order to help not only myself and how to prevent burnout, right? But also to complement what I do and to help my families and to
Mm,
help going forward and what that looks like. We're not going to leave you stranded. We're going to show you how what that looks like in your practice, in your office, what you can expect to do with the information so that you have it. And again, by the end of it, you would have created applications for aromatherapy that you can start using right then and there. So you don't have to worry about later, like, what did they say? How did that work? And again, you'll have the downloads from that course. And so
absolutely.
it's going to be
Absolutely.
an amazing experience. Absolutely. Amazing experience to get to know,
Yeah.
to get to know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and so super excited about it. And we didn't even touch on the community aspect of it, being able
Yeah.
to learn in a very intimate setting. Not
Yes.
only do you grow faster in community, you also have that sense of belonging, that sense of being connected to other beings who are on a similar path and have similar interests. Where you
Yes.
grow and you share and you learn together, and those relationships are fostered and facilitated throughout your career, throughout your life. It's much greater than what we do on a professional level, as I'm sure everyone's fully aware. So some of my closest friends are people that I've worked with, that I've made as colleagues, right? Still in my life today. So I'm grateful for the space of community where we can have these relationships that will last well beyond our profession and well beyond the virtual experience that we're offering as well. So I definitely wanted to touch on that.
Yes, it's supporting one another, isn't it?
Mhm.
What it's about, supporting one another in the space and what you're doing and how you're showing up and you're serving, right?
Mm,
'Cause it is a service. You are
that's right.
serving, and as you say, heart work. And we say heart
Mhm.
work.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't wake up just wanting to be a social worker for selfish reasons. No, you know
Mm,
that there is a calling for you to do so, and that's what I say about those of us who serve in that capacity. It's
yeah.
a true calling. It really
Mm,
is. And for you to stay in the game and have some sense of sanity,
yeah. Yeah.
sometimes you need something to help you, an additional something. We're adding a complementary natural modality to help
Mhm.
you throughout your day and beyond, and in your family, in your community for that matter.
That's right. Mm. A community component is so important. It's so important. I think as we continue to evolve, I think what COVID did for us was we had to sit down, of
Mm,
course, right,
mm,
and being isolated, right, and kind of on your own in some respects, right? Not able to be outside as often. Everyone felt the need and understood that community is not just a luxury,
mm.
right? That community is a priority. It's a necessity. And so being able to offer that is incredibly important because I think I'm not even think, I know these modalities
Mm,
change your life, and where we are right here on this planet, whether it's in your professional career or your personal life. I think everyone is going through some sort of um, adjustment or transformation or facing adversity on one level or another.
right,
And so
right,
the question becomes, when you are facing the adversity, one, what is the lesson that is there to teach you? And two, where do you go in terms of your practice, right? To find that inner peace during chaos, right? What tools do you have in your bag? What can you really lean on in times of uncertainty? And I believe that is where we're talking in terms of this course, being able to really lean on a practice that allows you to not look outside of yourself for something that can never satisfy you. Because oftentimes when we face these moments, the answer is never outside, it's
mm,
always within. And so being able to drop into a practice, drop into a community, drop into a level of support and wisdom, wisdom is just essential for where we are in this time on this planet, in
right.
this time and on this planet. So like I
Right.
said, grateful to offer this with my sister Danny. And I'm excited for people who are going to show up, because our mindset is to not just to provide you with a great experience, but to over deliver. I
Oh,
mean, we have years
yes.
and years of experience in doing this, and it's not just, I said, it's not just textbook. These are examples and applications that come from, over 2 and almost 3 decades of working and applying these modalities, and how we can speak to it from a professional life, a family life, a holistic perspective of just being a whole being, and how do we navigate the different aspects of life, rooted rooted in a sense of being and wellness. So it's a really great opportunity. Like I said, for those who sign up, I'm really excited for you, because we're gonna be able to pour into you.
Yes, absolutely. And you said the key word, holistic. And that's
Yes.
one of the things that we strive to, particularly in the social work arena, looking at the person as a whole and what we can offer them. It's not just what they present us with, but looking at their whole, their environment, their emotional well-being, their physical well-being. And
Hmm.
so that's what we're offering. These modalities, using aromatherapy with the use of essential oils, offers just that. It offers you a whole well-being, right? Emotionally, physically, and environmentally as well. So, you know, you can't, we're not taking anything away, and you may have already have your own practice that you will, that you lean on a daily basis, be it your faith or whatever the case might be, and praying, whatever. We're offering this as an additional support, an additional way of being that can only elevate and enhance what you're already doing in your life, already doing in your life, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was super excited for that. I want to pivot a little bit, and because we talked about, it's expertise and just wisdom and knowledge, and things that we've turned to in times where we wanted to learn and grow and do different, explore different things. And so
Mm.
I have a little segment that we do each time. I ask, just what are your top five? What are your top five, I would say, favorite books? Top five favorite
Oh.
books that you've read. If you could only take 5 books with you on the journey,
Hmm.
which five? Which 5 books are you choosing?
Ooh. Okay. So, gotta have my word.
All right. Gotta have it. That's you.
Gotta have my word. And there's so many books that I've read along my way. I love to
Yeah.
read. Um, I'll just lean into what I most readily refer to
Mhm.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Any book by Dr. Joel Wallach. He has
Okay.
one particular book I like, Black Gene Lies.
Black Gene Lives. Okay.
And I say that because it talks about different health modalities and how it shows up in the African American community differently than perhaps what is labeled in contemporary medicine. Excuse me. You'd have to read it for yourself to understand. And in the book, he talks about how it was a pastor who had a
Hmm.
child, who has a child, who was experiencing a health challenge, and the doctors wrote her off, saying whatever they was going to say.
Mm.
After working with Dr. Joel Wallach, and the pastor reached out to him, or whomever reached out to him, and he was able to help with that person, that child's symptoms,
Hmm.
despite what contemporary medicine said. And because of that, the book was funded through the ministry that this pastor has. So he
Mm.
helped to fund the book to get the message out in
Wow.
so many words or less. What I took from that, even though contemporary doctors may say, and I'm not, discrediting that because it has its place, there are other ways that you can help with your health challenges. So I say Black Gene Lies or anything by Dr. Joel Wallach. Okay,
Excellent.
really excellent person and perspective. He has a famous, just side notes, he has a famous audio thing called Dead Doctors Don't Lie.
Mm.
That might
Mm.
be a controversial topic, but once you listen to it or
Hmm.
read it, you understand what he's talking about. It's like, wow. Okay. So anything by Dr. Joel Wallach?
Okay. I put the information in the comment section of the chat as well. For anybody interested would like to check it out, just check out the comment section. We got it.
Yes. Um, I've been reading Ask and It Is Given by Esther
Okay.
and Jerry Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading that book for over a year now. You said, why have you been reading it over a year? So there are some processes and some things in the book that you go through that you, on one particular part, it's taken me a year to go through the process that they're referring to. And then once I'm through that process, I can move on to the next one. So sometimes it's not just about reading the book and I'm done and I got it. I'm working through it as I'm reading it. And so I've been reading that book for a year.
The application part. Sometimes you gotta take it slow. Can't
Yes.
breeze through it. You gotta read it, sit it down for a minute, apply it, go back. Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
beautiful.
embracing the journey.
Yes.
Most recently, I read The Four Elements by Miguel Ruiz, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying his
Don Miguel
name.
Ruiz. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I understand there's a fifth element. I haven't read that one yet, but those are top three or four. So gotta have my word. Love anything about natural health, anything,
Yes.
get my hands on, and things that bring application to keep a different perspective while you're living this human experience.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
and trying not to listen to all the noise that's put out here. So,
That part.
and, and knowing who you are and whose you are. So that
Yes.
those are the types of books that I lean into.
Powerful books, and it's not even a question as to why you do what you do and why you're so successful at doing it. If this is what you're filling your mind with, what your awareness with, I mean, it goes to show. I mean, you're a living example, living proof that by having a practice, by having an open heart, and living with your mantra of teaching, of let me get it right. It is learning, growing, share together naturally. I mean, you're a living example of
Yes.
it. So that's beautiful.
Oh, and can I say that
Hmm.
that mantra was spun from Dr. Maya Angelou?
Hmm.
Which she has a quote that says, "When you learn, you teach. When you get, you give."
Mm.
And
Hmm.
so from that, I inspired. I say, absolutely. So what I learn, I share. You
Yeah.
know, I'm lovingly giving what I know that could be of benefit to somebody
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
might not even thought about it, that was a possibility. Or if you are, for example, how to do it in a manner that is safe. And I'm talking about aromatherapy. Because you
Hmm.
might be using essential oils from what you say somebody had given you or you
Hmm.
got off the shelf. But do you know what you're doing with them?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Because all essential oils are not created equal.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah.
Wow. That's powerful. You talked about Dr. Maya Angelou. I mean, how inspirational. I mean, she's had such a huge impact, not just on my life, but on this whole world. Give thanks for her and the wisdom that she left us, and
Mm,
just grateful for the ancestral wisdom
yes.
that still
Yeah.
accompanies us, right? That we can always tap back into. I was listening to Sabanfu Somé. She was
Mm,
talking about prosperity,
mm-hmm.
and she kind of talked about very similar along the lines of Dr. Maya Angelou, where when you give, the understanding, the vibrational undercurrent is that you have abundance, and so you're
Mm,
giving from abundance, and you're giving with a sense of gratitude. And so that's such a beautiful and powerful practice, because we always have something to give, whether it's a smile, a
mm,
compliment. Inherently, what we, and I love how it's phrased that what we are looking for, we're looking with. And
mm.
so we are looking for maybe abundance, or maybe we're looking for peace, but we have peace, we are peace. And so by
Yes.
offering it to others, the message, the vibrational message, is that we have an abundance of it to give,
Yes.
an abundance of it to
Absolutely.
give.
And I love the way that you put it. Our AI, nowadays we talk about AI, but you have a different spin on AI, and that is ancestral
Mm,
intelligence.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I
The
love that.
beauty, the beauty of the ancestors to be here to closer than our very breathing. All right. It's, it's amazing that we're always guided and accompanied by people who have prayed for us.
Hmm.
Right. I mean, we've all, no matter what, our religious upbringing is, there's been a time in everyone's life where we've had a moment at least where we've asked or we've called forth something. And so we sit here today as beings who are all gifts and have gifts.
Hmm.
And those gifts are the very answers that people have asked and requested. So each of us holds something that's very special for this planet. And we are all responsible for creating an environment we can all generously give the gifts that we've been given, and we're here to serve. That we're here to serve. And so that goes back to that ancestral intelligence. And you know the beautiful part about that is also how it shapes into our children.
Hmm.
That our children are reflective of our past, our present, and our future. And so, and the time where, and I, not to get too crazy with it, but all the things that had transpired over the last, I guess, week or so with the school shooting, it just, it's always a remembrance. And for me, how, the shift of, it's not just about our individual children, that we are collectively responsible for every child on on this planet, because they are the past, the present, and the future. And we are all, whatever gift they have in them, whatever medicine that is within them, is medicine that we need to come into remembrance of our true way of being. So,
Yes, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Absolutely.
uh,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Well, listen, my sister, you gave us some gems. You gave us some gems, some gems with aromatherapy, with essential oils, ways in which that we can take our practice with us on the road, that we can balance, that we can recenter, and also some awesome readings that we can use as well. I want to kind of give you a few moments to kind of just recap in terms of the virtual experience that we got coming up. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
Hmm.
And so, like we've mentioned, we are lovingly inviting the first of its kind, really leveling up those of us in a space of giving, particularly social workers and counselors, to come and have an experience that can not only help you, but to help your clients. As we mentioned, we're going to have hands on, you're going to get concierge service. As far as we're going to walk you step by step through um, what is my Aroma Buds and Blossoms course. It is an online course, but we're taking that online course and we're making it virtual. We're going to make this course hands on. We are bringing it to your living room, your practice, wherever you're going to be when you take this course. We are bringing it to you and taking you through the online course and really setting you up for a self care that is going to enhance your practice, enhance yourself, enhance those you serve, right? It is going to be phenomenal.
Hmm.
And as we mentioned, we're going to go over aromatherapy. We're going to go over some select essential oils, okay? And we're going to incorporate meditation, practice in it. And by the time you're done, you're going to have a sense of, oh, wow. Oh, wow. As particularly if you didn't know about aromatherapy, what I know now, you will be able to take that and apply it, not only apply it, but share it and have access to it and use it for aromatherapy or any other modality, essential oils beyond the course. Because, of course, we have a select few that we're going to be focusing on, but these select few covers all that what you would need for all of your body systems
Mm-hmm.
and the things that addresses anxiety and depression, like we mentioned, and stress, and to prevent burnout. So these essential oils that we'll be reviewing will be addressing all of that, including all of our body systems for which the therapeutic properties of essential oils will help. Coupled with Brother Andre and his beautiful meditation and all that he offers and brings to the space, honey, you are going to love it. You're going to be able to say, oh wow, I've received something. I received something that is empowering, uplifting. It's non-conventional. You might say it's non-conventional, but it's going to level up your practice and give you another tool in your toolbox to say. And it's not going to be hard.
Mm.
We're
Mm-mm.
keeping it simple here.
That's it.
We're keeping it simple because guess what? We know you don't have this kind of time for it to be complicated.
Mm-mm.
You
Mm-mm.
don't have that kind of luxury to say, okay, I need to take an hour out my day to be able to implement this. No. You're going to have what you need by the end of it and have access to it online. So no worries, and refer back to it. And we are anticipating, we know it's going to be a beautiful experience for which you're going to want to tell your friends and colleagues about.
Well said. I can't add anything more to that. I can't add anything more to it. I mean, you absolutely nailed it, and I said it before, and then I'll say it again that I'm really excited for people who are going to sign up for this course because I know it's an opportunity to develop a or even enhance a practice that really, really brings forth the beauty in all aspects of your life. So it's a great honor to be able to serve in that capacity. It's a great
Yes.
honor, Danny, to be able to work with you and bring together these two modalities that fit really, literally hand in glove and really bring that love, that light, that compassion, that creativity, that
Yeah.
wisdom to every aspect of our life, and not just our life, but our communities and this planet as well. So it's with great joy and great honor that we offer this course, and I look forward to connecting with those who sign up for it. So, and that's it. That's it. Well, my sister, thank you so much. It's absolutely been a pleasure and an honor. And so, family, for those who are tuning in, I appreciate it. We will continue this conversation with more special guests, more information about going from burnout to balance. We've had our sister, Dr. Sheila Patel. We've had Bonnie Bartlett. We have my sister Danny here today. And then we have more that are going to bring some more information on how we can regain that sense of inner peace, that sense of balance in a holistic, in all aspects of our lives. So I
Right.
do this live on LinkedIn because I don't want people to feel like you can partition off your professional life from your personal life. No, it's a whole, it's a whole being, right? You're a whole
Right.
being. And so those I guess things that happen at work that may cause some type of hurt, right? Those
Mm,
things need to be healed as well as those things in your family life or your personal life. And so it's a great honor to be at the forefront of it. And I'll say the forefront because many people kind of shy away from doing this type of conversation on
mm,
LinkedIn.
mm.
But I'll say that it's a great joy and a privilege to do it because I know there are people out here who are searching for ways to
Yes.
show up and have a comprehensive life where they don't have to hide behind, I guess, whatever, whatever partition we set up
Mm. Yeah.
to be their true self. So I give thanks for it. My sister Danny, I thank you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to catching everyone on another one.
Yes. Thank you. I thank you so very much, Brother Andre, for having me and the opportunity and joining this. I don't want to call it a crusade. This offering that we have to bring light and bring joy and bring love in the hard work that we do because we both show up passionately.
Mm-hmm.
We both show up passionately and are grateful for the opportunity to serve. How about that?
That part.
'Cause that's a privilege.
You better believe it. You
It's
better
not
believe it.
something, I take lightly. I don't
Nah.
take it lightly for the ability to be able to serve it in the way that I do and am able to do and use my skills to do so.
That's
Something
right.
that I have been gifted. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
have been chosen. I have been gifted to do because honestly, I didn't choose this. It chose me.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So if I had to say it, if I'm being real honest, and I've said it before, I have it chose me because it certainly was not the path that I had thought for myself when you growing up. You're in high school and say, "What do I want to do?" This wasn't it.
Mm.
This
Wow.
wasn't it. And I talk about that on my channel as well. So yeah,
Well,
I'm
thank you. Thank you for saying yes, because I say it's the medicine that we need.
Oh,
the
all
medicine
right
that we
now.
need. So thank you for thank you for saying yes, my sister. I appreciate you. Y'all go ahead to the website. The information is in the chat. Go to the website. Feel free to register. The first 5 who sign up, they get $100 off of the virtual experience as well. So I give thanks for you, and I will catch you on another one. Take care.
All right.
Bye
God
bye.
bless you. I love y'all. Bye bye
Love
now.
ya.